Okay, so before we actually kick into what we're here to talk about for day 7, Jennifer Cook from Oracle has been kind enough to hop on the line and chat with us about her experience. Actually, Jennifer, you did this masterclass in July, and then you started the course in July as well. So I think that was really only 2 months ago that we first started talking. A lot has changed for you in that time, but maybe I'll just hand it over to you and let you share, what was the masterclass experience like for you? What has the course been like? Also, what your sales role is, who you're selling into, that kind of thing, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, so I was actually in transition when I came across your LinkedIn about this masterclass, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and I'm like, oh, that should give me something to do and something to work on, and as I start my new adventure at Oracle. And so I am so glad that I did it, because there's just a wealth of information that you provide and things that you help with. And, I loved it. So when you had offered then the next level class, I'm like, oh, I have got to take this. And so I'm really grateful that I did, actually. But I mean, at my role, I am selling into enterprise, like really big enterprise accounts. So having like a really good plan and strategy behind you as you call into these accounts. Some of them are net new, some of them are existing accounts. It's kind of a mix. I mean, everybody knows of Oracle, right? Because it's a huge organization. So it's not like some of the startups that are out there where you have a lot of like unknowns. But there still is a lot of strategy that you need when you call into an existing Oracle account. So Heather has been really helpful in helping me kind of just compile my plan and really tweak what I'm doing, what I can do better, and all that good stuff. So it's been very informative for me.
Awesome. I love hearing that, and thank you for sharing that. So one of the things I get asked a lot, people that come into the course that are either brand new in their role, between roles, or looking to move to a new role. So when they're looking to move to a new role, it makes sense to me to you knock your skills out, you get your skills in order, and then you transition to something new. But I kind of take it on a case-by-case basis with, does this make sense if I'm between roles or if I'm looking at a new role? So or I'm sorry, starting a new role. So how do you feel about that? Because you covered both. You were in between for a little bit of it, and then you were starting up something new. So what was your experience like there?
I'm personally glad that I did it, because I was able to get up and running a lot more quickly, especially with like the know your product part of the worksheet or work sessions. Like that to me is something that no matter how long you've been in your role or whatever, you should be doing that, and you should have, that piece of the worksheets really locked in, because it's super helpful and it adds so much value like right away. And I mean, in organizations, it doesn't matter how like big or small they are. Like they have data points and they have use cases in every, in every nook and cranny of your organization. And so trying to find them on the fly, I think, is always really hard. So if you have that go-to, it makes life a lot easier. And I just honestly have that on my desktop. And I, as I'm starting to prospect and look into it, into my accounts, I have that up so that I have my talk track ready to go. And then if there's any questions that come up, I can much more easily answer it. And if I don't have the answer, then it's okay too, right? I can go and find it with our technical help. But just having more of that information available makes you a much more credible seller.
Awesome. I'm glad you loved that one, because that was fun to work through with you. So if you this might be a hard question, but everyone always wants to know about metrics, right? Like what are the success metrics you've come out with? You're obviously so new into a role. You can't say, I did this with my number or this happened. Do you think there's anything that you've noticed that metrics are going in the right direction, or things that have happened for you that you can see success early that you can credit to working together?
Yeah, I've had a lot of like early on success, right? I started with nothing and now I have stuff. So all of that is 100% increase. I have meetings every week. I'm getting net new meetings every week and net new outreaches every single week. Numbers wise, I'm probably averaging now 2 to 5 meetings a week. When I started, I had zero. So I have 100% improvement. You know what I mean? Um,
That's a good
I
metric. That's true.
I've typed, you know, over $1 million in opportunities. Like that's 100% growth. And so there's there's still more obviously to be had because I've got a lot of accounts and I have a lot of like addressable market. So I have seen, good growth. Now, is it what I want to see? Probably not quite there yet, but that's putting the pressure on myself to do that, and then that kind of comes back to too, like that know your number. Like the more intimate you can know that number, where you need to continue to like improve or change or do whatever you need to do to start hitting more and more of those metrics. So like for me, my goal is probably to see, 7 or so customers a week. I'd like to see 4 a month in person. I've seen a couple in month, or I've seen a couple in person so far. Um, Scheduling is obviously a little bit of a challenge and something that I can't control, but um, but I can at least go back and say, okay, well, this is the activities that I did this week, and I didn't hit all my metrics. So next week I know where I need to, do better. So I can
Awesome.
start to follow that ball a little bit with more precision and with more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like with more precision and knowing more accuracy, like what I need to do to make the adjustments. So it's like, oh, I had a really busy week this week with meetings, but I only had 20 minutes to prospect, but next week I have to build out, that whole 30 or 45 minutes to ensure, because otherwise you're not going to see the growth.
Right. Well, okay. I have two more questions for you. Number one, how is prospecting going? And do you think the coursework has helped you with it?
Um, yes, the coursework has helped a lot. Um, Prospecting it's going well. I, I have such big companies that my ADD kind of kicks in. And so I get a little bit lost. But again, having that framework and that guiding light kind of helps navigate me back to it. So from that standpoint, I would say that it's going well so
Awesome.
far.
I'll say our one-on-one session with prospecting last week was one of my favorites because it's fun to see the potential in you guys, and you're so creative. I love seeing the early part of the path because I don't know that you see it yet, but it will, some of the new things you're trying, the way they unfold and the successes. It's really cool to work on with you guys. Okay, last question. What was your favorite part of the course?
Um, Boy, so many. I have notes like from every single day and then every single one of my master classes that I still go through. So I don't know, there was just so much that I love about it. I love working with you. I think you are, just you've got a great attitude. You've got a great demeanor about you. When you're having kind of a like an, oh man kind of moment, you're like, nope, we got this. Let's work on it. And I appreciate that so much. So I think working with you is probably one of my favorite things.
Oh, well, ditto, and thank you. That is super sweet. All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking time today, especially on the Sunday, Jennifer. That's really kind of you. I'm going to continue on with the session, but thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions, let me know.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.